Welcome to Mythos AI, your source for Cliff's Notes on complex subjects. Join Anna and Phil for yet another engaging conversation.
You know, when you sent that excerpt over from the intelligence age, gotta say, it really got me thinking. Like, it paints this picture of the future that's both, I don't know, kind of exhilarating and a little, well, maybe even a little scary, to be honest.
Yeah.
This whole idea of like incredibly powerful AI being like right around the corner, readily available to everyone. It feels, I don't know, it feels like we're on the edge of something massive, something really revolutionary, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge moment, a real turning point in history, no doubt.
Right.
That excerpt, it argues that we're basically stepping into this whole new era, one that's like completely defined by how we use artificial intelligence. And not just use it, but use it in ways that, we couldn't even imagine before.
Exactly. And it doesn't hold back, does it? I mean, it even says that, like, what we're about to experience, our future, would seem like, get this, magic to people just a few generations back.
Right.
Like, what do you think would blow their minds the most? Self-driving cars? AI composing symphonies? I mean, come on, it's mind-boggling.
I think, honestly, it's the sheer, scoop of it all.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it could touch every single aspect of our lives. The excerpt mentions those personalized AI tutors, a
What?
total revolution in healthcare. It's not about flashy gadgets. It's about, actually using AI to solve real problems, global problems, and just making life better for everyone. That's what's so powerful about this moment.
Totally. It's like we've got this incredibly powerful tool, and we're just starting to realize what we can do with it.
Exactly.
And speaking of tools, one thing that really stuck with me was that whole deep learning thing. The excerpt, it keeps coming back to deep learning as if it's like the secret sauce, the magic ingredient to unlocking AI's true power. But, and maybe I'm just being dense here, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves, can you walk me through how it actually works? I mean, what makes deep learning different from just like regular programming?
Sure. So traditional programming, it's like you're giving a computer step-by-step instructions, right? Very specific. But deep learning, it's all about teaching algorithms to learn from data. Imagine feeding a computer this massive library of information and then essentially letting it loose to figure things out, find patterns, make connections that we might miss entirely.
So instead of telling the computer exactly what to do, we're teaching it to think for itself. Is that too simplistic?
In a way, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good way to put it. These deep learning algorithms, they're designed to kind of mimic the way the human brain works, with all these interconnected nodes that process and analyze information. And they can spot these subtle correlations, these patterns in tons of data, allowing them to make predictions or, decisions with incredible accuracy.
That's insane. So we're basically giving AI the ability to learn and adapt in a way we've never seen before.
It's pretty incredible stuff.
But the excerpt, and this is key, I think, it also makes a really important point about, not keeping this technology bottled up. It talks about making AI accessible to everyone. So how do we actually make sure that happens?
Yeah.
How do we ensure that the benefits of this whole intelligence age are shared by everyone and not just, the wealthy or powerful?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The excerpt, it emphasizes the importance of infrastructure, right? We need serious computing power and energy, easily accessible energy, to make AI available to everyone. If we don't address those fundamental needs, we're not going to create a more equitable future. We risk making existing inequalities even worse.
So it's not enough to just invent these amazing tools. We have to build a world where everyone can actually benefit from them. That makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely, it's crucial.
And if we can do that, if we can pull that off, the excerpt seems to suggest that, well, the possibilities are pretty much limitless. It talks about this future of abundant prosperity for, everyone on the planet. I mean, you've spent years studying these trends. Do you really think that's possible? Is a future where AI solves all our biggest problems and, unlocks this era of prosperity really within reach?
Well, I mean, the potential, it's definitely there. It's huge. But I think it's important, like you said, to be both optimistic and realistic. It's not going to be easy.
Right. It's not all going to be sunshine and roses,
Right.
right? There are bound to be some bumps in the road. And speaking of bumps, the excerpt doesn't shy away from the potential downsides either, does it?
Definitely not. And I'd say one of the biggest concerns is, well, what happens to jobs? We can't ignore that.
Sure.
AI has the potential to automate a lot of what people do for a living right now.
Yeah, that's a big one. The whole robots taking our jobs thing. It's like a classic sci-fi trope, but now it feels like it could actually happen. But the excerpt, it seems to suggest Maybe it's not all doom and gloom on the job front. It talks
Mhm.
about how, yeah, some jobs will disappear, but new ones will emerge. We'll see a shift from those like repetitive tasks to more, creative, strategic work. Do you buy that? Will AI actually create more opportunities than it eliminates? Or are we looking at a future where a lot of people get left behind?
That's the million-dollar question, right? It's
Yeah.
what everyone's trying to figure out. The excerpt's comparison to the lamplighter, I think that's spot on. Imagine, trying to explain to someone 100 years ago that their grandkids would be, like, designing websites or developing AI. They wouldn't have a clue what you were talking about. In the same way, we can't even imagine the kinds of jobs that'll exist in the intelligence age.
So you're saying instead of being afraid of AI replacing human workers, we should be thinking about it as this, like, catalyst for a totally different way of working. More creativity, more critical thinking, those uniquely human skills.
Exactly. It's not about replacing us. It's about, making us even better, freeing us up from those tedious tasks that machines can handle.
I like the sound of that. But it also brings up a whole other set of questions. Like, if we're headed towards this future where work is less about, manual labor and more about creativity and innovation, how do we prepare for that? How do we make sure everyone has the chance to succeed in this new world?
Those are the questions, right?
That's
And they're urgent. The excerpt's emphasis on responsible AI, that's huge here. We have to be really smart about how we design and use these technologies. Make sure they're enhancing our abilities, not, making us obsolete.
It's a fine line, isn't it? We have to embrace the potential of AI, but also be aware of the risks, make sure it benefits everyone.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to talk about this stuff now while we're still in the early stages. The decisions we make today, they're going to shape the intelligence age for generations to come.
No pressure, right. Okay, so we've talked about the potential of AI to like solve global problems, the importance of responsible development, the whole changing nature of work. But I think what I'm most curious about is this. If this intelligence age is all about like pushing past what we think is possible, what are we going to look back on as unimaginable in the future? What will AI allow us to achieve that just seems impossible right now?
That's a question philosophers have been wrestling with forever. And I think the answer is that our idea of what's possible, it's always changing. What seems like magic today could be totally normal in the future.
So what could that look like in the intelligence age? What seemingly impossible dreams could AI help us achieve?
Well, imagine, for instance, a world without disease. Like diseases are eradicated before they even emerge. Or a world where we've reversed climate change, where poverty and hunger are just gone. These might sound like lofty goals, but with AI, they might not be so far-fetched.
It's a pretty amazing vision of the future, but even beyond solving our current problems, AI could help us, I don't know, push the boundaries of what it means to be human, right?
Absolutely. Just imagine being able to, like, merge our consciousness with AI. We could break free from the limits of our bodies, explore the universe in ways we can't even conceive of right now. The possibilities are endless.
Wow, that's a lot to wrap my head around. So we're not just talking about living longer, but actually changing what it means to be human.
Exactly. The intelligence age, it's both exhilarating and, well, maybe a little scary. Because the lines between humans and machines, they're going to get blurred.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a lot to process, but it's incredibly exciting too. We're talking about a future of like mind-blowing possibilities, a future where AI could help us create a world that's not just more advanced, but, you know, fairer, more just, and more fulfilling for everyone.
I think that's what's so inspiring about this moment in time.
Absolutely. And on that note, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a quick step back and delve a bit deeper into, well, the ethical stuff we were talking about earlier, the potential risks of this technology, and what we can actually do to make sure this all shakes out in a positive, equitable way for everyone. Welcome back, everyone. We're back, and, before the break, we were getting into some pretty, I don't know, kind of intense territory, right? Talking about the need to be cautious with AI, make sure it's used ethically. But this excerpt, this intelligence age thing, it's not all doom and gloom, is it?
No, not at all.
That actually paints a pretty optimistic picture of what could be, right?
It really does. The author, they're clearly excited about the potential for AI to, like, really solve some of the biggest problems humanity faces. I'm talking about the stuff that's been around for centuries. Poverty, hunger, disease. I mean, they even think AI could tackle climate change.
I know. It's almost hard to imagine, right, that we could actually be on the verge of, like, solving these problems that just seem so impossible. What is it about AI that makes you think it could be the key here?
Well, I think it's AI's ability to, like, just process massive amounts of data.
Mm.
And not just process it, but find those hidden patterns, make predictions in a way that we just can't, not on that scale.
Right.
Take climate change, for example. AI could analyze, I don't know, decades of climate data, spot trends, model solutions, so much faster and more effectively than humans ever could.
So instead of just reacting to climate change as it happens, we could use AI to get ahead of it, maybe even prevent the worst of it.
Exactly. It's about being proactive. AI could help us develop like super efficient renewable energy, make our cities smarter and greener, maybe even design, I don't know, geoengineering solutions, things we haven't even thought of yet.
That's wild. And what about like poverty and hunger? Two huge persistent problems. How could AI help us there?
Well, imagine AI systems that can analyze economic data, figure out the most effective ways to lift people out of poverty, or AI-powered agriculture that optimizes crop yields, streamlines distribution, ensures everyone has access to food.
It's like we always talk about these problems, poverty, hunger, as if they're just inevitable. But with AI, maybe they don't have to be.
I think that's the whole point.
Yeah.
The intelligence aid, it's not just about making things a little bit better. It's about fundamentally changing how we approach these challenges.
I like it. So it's not just about solving the problems we have now. This excerpt, The Intelligence Age, it hints at a future where AI doesn't just help us survive, it helps us thrive, like really thrive.
Totally.
So what does that look like? How could AI, enhance our lives, push the boundaries of what's possible for humans?
Okay, well, imagine education that's completely personalized to your learning style, your pace. AI tutors that adapt to your needs help you reach your full potential.
Okay, I like that. What else?
Imagine AI collaborating with artists and musicians, creating entirely new forms of art, music, pushing the limits of creativity.
It's like AI could be this incredible tool, this amplifier for human ability. We could learn faster, create more, explore new frontiers. It's pretty mind-blowing.
And that's just scratching the surface.
Okay, now you've really got me going. What else? What's next?
Well, some people, some really smart people, they believe AI could eventually allow us to merge our consciousness with technology.
Whoa, 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 hold on. Like, become one with the machines.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
We could transcend our physical limitations, our biological bodies,
Yeah.
maybe even achieve a kind of digital immortality.
Okay, now that's a lot to process. So we're not just talking about, like, living longer. We're talking about fundamentally changing what it means to be human.
I know, it's a lot. But the intelligence age, it forces us to confront these possibilities, these incredible and maybe a little bit scary possibilities.
No kidding. This deep dive, it's been quite the ride. We've talked about deep learning, the ethics of AI, the risks, the potential benefits. It's clear that we're at this really pivotal moment.
Absolutely pivotal.
We have an incredible opportunity, a real chance to shape the future of intelligence, make sure AI is a force for good. And that's on all of us. So, stay curious, folks, stay engaged. Let's make this intelligence age something truly amazing. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to Mythos AI. Stay tuned for more concise insights. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe for future episodes.